Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 46. This is a review lesson. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's card pack, some blank index cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. Moving on to the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. Then we'll have the visual drill and auditory drill. For that one, you'll need the student's grapheme card pack. Make sure that you've introduced the sounds of C and the sounds of G cards. You can find those in the lesson plan if you're wondering what they are. Moving on to the syllable card drill, you are going to have 3 different cards because it's a 3 different syllable card drill. If you find that this is too much for the student, then you can either go back to one of your 2 syllable drills, or you could unscramble some of these words to make it easier on the student as well. You could also reduce the number of words as a way to make it easier. For the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling and reading, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllable worksheet. And in addition to that, we'll have a new one. We'll have the 111 doubling rule chart. We're going to make some word sums. You'll have the individual word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing part of the lesson. In addition to all of that, you will have cut out in advance the sort for is it a hard or soft G and C sound. And then you might have a timer on the table if you have decided it's time to introduce fluency. Refer to lesson 33 to learn more about that. Check out the beginning of that lesson. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, take out your card pack of words, and I'd like you to read through each word. When you get one correct, you are going to put a check mark in the corner of the card. Once you've finished reading all the cards, then give the card pack to your teacher, and it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and you will write them down. When you get one correct, you will put a check mark in the other corner of the card. Then you can have a quick discussion about which of those words have been mastered. If any of them have been mastered, then they can be removed from the card pack. This creates space so that you can add a new word. Let's do the short vowel drill. Student, take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. You'll take 2 fingers and trace the keyword shape, apple, and then underline it and say the keyword sound, ah. Do this for all the short vowel sounds with the keyword pictures, and do it as many times as your teacher deems necessary. Then you're going to take out the keyword sentence. You'll read the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. It's time for the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is sit. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will sit down on this chair. Okay, now take out colored tiles for the word sit and tap it and say it. Okay, do you have 3 tiles and are they all different colors? If you do, that's right. Take out a new tile, new color, and call it O. Put the O right after the S, and what do you have? Tap it and say it. Did you say slit? If you did, that's right. A slit is a small opening. I might say I put the mail through the little slit in the mailbox. Okay, now find the I in slit and change the I into an ah. Now tap it and say it. Did you get slat? If you did, that's right. Okay, now find the T in slat. Change the T into a n. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get slan? Not a word on its own, part of a bigger word though. So yes, that is slan. Let's change it into a real word. Add t onto the end of slan. What do you get? Tap it and say it. Did you get slant? If you did, that's right. Okay, find the a in slant. Change the a into an What's your new word? Tap it and say it. It's a nonsense word. Did you get slunt? If you did, that's correct. Okay, let's take away the t on slunt. And what are you left with? Did you get slun? If you did, that's right. Let's change this into a real word. So change the n in slun into a m. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get slum? If you did, that's right. Okay, great work. You can put your towels away. It's time for the visual card drill. The teacher flashes a card and the student says the sound. What's the sound of this one? Did you say j or jai? Either one of those would be correct. If we had a babysitter, then this would be a closed syllable and it would say j in. It's itchy sound. And if you wanted to say it was an open syllable, you're totally welcome to do that. When it's an open syllable, the I says its name. In either case, because the G is followed by an I, it makes it soft sound. J. Good work. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards and then come back to me. Well, let's do the auditory drill. Student, your sound is caw. Can you repeat that sound? Now think of some symbols that go with caw. How would you make that sound? With symbols. Say it as you're writing them down, and then when you finish, underline them and say the sound again. All right. Did you say C-O can make caw? K-ah? If you did, that's right. You could also say K-O. When we do the auditory drill, we want to be thinking of as many as we can. As many different symbols. Okay, teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards now. It's time for the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one all cut out and set up on the table for you. You're going to read down all the syllables in column 1, then 2, and then 3. Then you'll read across each row, making nonsense words as you go. Then it's time to do some unscrambling so you can make real words. Leave column number 1 as it is and just unscramble 2 and 3. And as you're doing this, remember to be talking about the meanings of the different syllables and words, and then putting some of those words into sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. Every time you hear a syllable, when I say a word or a syllable, you will stretch out your arm and you'll tap it with your other hand, pounding out the syllables with your fingers. Or you could just have your hand under your chin, and when you say the word, your chin will drop every time a syllable happens. You're listening for the vowel sounds, remember. Lish. How many syllables are there in lish? Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. I hear the I sound. Lish is not a word on its own, but it's part of lots of words. I think of delicious. Okay, let's try a new one. Establish. How many syllables? Did you say 3? Establish. That's what I hear, 3. Okay, how about this one? Consist. I hear 2 in that one. How about consistent? Consistent. I hear 3. When you are consistent with something, you're steady. Maybe you have a consistent shot. You can always get it in the basket or the net. Okay, try this one. Vol. I only hear 1 in that one. And let's turn that into a real word. How about volcanic? Let's see. Volcanic. I hear 3 in that one. Have a quick discussion with your teacher about which vowels can soften the sound of a C or a G. When certain vowels follow those letters, they soften them. And then your teacher has the drill ready for you on the table, and you're going to tap each word and read the word and then sort it into the pile for, is it a soft sound of that letter or is it a hard sound? Let's practice dividing words into syllables on our worksheet. Pull out the worksheet now, and you'll also need your rules of syllabication sheet, the one that tells you that all the steps that you're going to do. So first you'll dot under the vowels, then you'll do your scoops, then you'll mark the syllable types, and then you'll mark what kind of vowels they are. Your teacher is keeping an eye on the time, so I'm sure that you probably are not going to have time to do all the words on this page, but you'll have time to do a few. In our last lesson, we introduced the 1-1-1 rule. This is a rule about when we have a base. In this case, our base is at, mat, and we want to add a suffix ending, an ending that starts with a vowel. If we have a situation like that, we want to apply the 1-1-1 rule to realize if we need to add a second T or not. And this rule is about having 2 babysitters because we want to really separate the A from the I. We want to avoid vowel confusion. We want to make it really clear that this mat is a closed syllable. So we apply the rule. We say, is this 1 syllable? Yes, it is. Is there 1 short vowel? Yes, there is. Is the 1 short vowel followed by 1 babysitter? Yes, it is. If all of that is true, then we need to double the T. So that word is properly spelled matting. Okay, let's practice this rule by pulling out the 1-1-1 chart that your teacher's printed out for you. And you're going to choose some words on which you want to work. So maybe I would pick sun, and I'd write it in the first box. And then I would just check in the next boxes to see if all the 1-1-1 conditions are there. And then I'd choose a suffix. And then I would spell the whole word in the last column. Do as many words as your teacher deems necessary, and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. We're going to do a big word today. In the syllable card drill, we were working on 3-syllable words, so let's try to read a 3-syllable word, and we'll try and create one in this drill. So your first sound is V. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is ah. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is O. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is K. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is A. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is N. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is I. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is K. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, we've got a lot of letters there, so we're going to use our syllabication skills. We have learned that when we're trying to figure out how to read a big word like this, what we're going to do is we're going to try to first divide between the consonants, unless there's situations where the consonants have to stay together. Like, something where this is an actual symbol on its own, so the PH has to stay together. Okay, so where do you think you'd divide the first syllable? Why don't you separate that word into 3 syllables? Well, if we know we're dividing between the consonants, we'll look for where that first babysitter is, right after the first vowel. So let's put VOL as one unit, 1 syllable. And then where is the next consonant that follows a vowel? Did you find it? C-A-N would be the next unit. And then you're just left with I-C-S, the last one. And now you can just tap each syllable and read it, and then put them all together and read the whole word. Did you get volcanic? If you did, that's right. Great work. Okay, put your tiles away, and let's try a new one. Your sound is J. Can you repeat that sound? Okay. Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next one is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And your last sound is P. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, and tap it and say it. What do you have? Did you get J-U-M-P? Jump? If you did, that's right. We can't use the G in that case because the U doesn't soften it. That's why we're using J. Okay, let's turn jump into jump. And I want to add ing. So find the correct tiles for ing. And once you have them in your workspace beside jump, think about the 1-1-1 rule. Is there anything you have to do to jump, or is it spelled correctly? Did you spell it J-U-M-P-I-N-G? If you did, that's right, because the vowel in jump, that U, is already followed by two babysitters. It's got two consonants already. So there's a nice big buffer between the end of that base and the vowel suffix, the I and the ing. So we've already got two consonants separating the U in jump from the I in ing, so we are good. Okay, put your tiles away. And teacher, if you would like to do a third word, if you have time, that's totally up to you. Otherwise, have the student read through the single word list and then the short story. If you have introduced a fluency piece, a timed reading passage, that's where it'll come in after the story. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for writing. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is discredit. Can you repeat that word? And if I was going to use it in a sentence, I might say, someone tried to discredit me by saying that I cheated on a test. Okay. What's the first sound that you hear in discredit? Actually, you know what? Let's first break it into syllables because that'll make it way easier to spell. So how many syllables do we hear in discredit? Discredit. I hear 3 in that. So let's spell it syllable by syllable. So what's the first sound that you hear in dis? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in dis? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in dis? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, that's syllable number 1. Now let's work on syllable number 2, cred. What's the first sound that you hear in cred? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in cred? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in cred? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in cred? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now we have our last syllable, it. What's the first sound that you hear in it? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in it? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, you've got a big word there. Tap the whole word and say the whole word. Did you spell it D-I-S-C-R-E-D-I-T? If you did, that's right. Great work. And this just shows the power of being able to hear things in syllables. If you can break things into syllables, then you realize that these really big words are just little syllables that we join together. Just little 2 and 3 ones usually, sometimes 4. Okay, so put those tiles away and let's try a new word. Okay, your word is sitting. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I was sitting on the dock at the lake. Okay, so once again, you want to hear that word in parts. So what are the 2 parts that you hear, the 2 syllables? Sitting. Okay, so let's think of the base and let's think of the suffix. So what's the first sound that you hear in sit? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in sit? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in sit? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. All right, the next is a suffix ing. We want to add ing to sit. So find the correct tiles for ing and pull them to the middle. And then apply whatever spelling rule you think needs to get applied. Okay, now tap it and say it. Did you spell it S-I-T-T-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. When we have these endings, we call them suffixes. And when we have an ending that starts with a vowel, we want to put a nice buffer at the end of the closed syllable that separates the vowel in the closed syllable from the vowel in the suffix ending. So we try and have at least 2 babysitters there at all times when we're adding a suffix ending. And that's the purpose of the doubling rule. Makes it really clear that that base is a closed syllable. Okay, great work. Let's go on to some tapping. So you'll need a lined paper and some pencils, or pencil. And you can either tap it out and say the sounds as you tap it, or you could trace it on your hand and trace the letter and say the sound of the letter. In either case, you'll grab the whole word, say the whole word, and then write it down. Your word is ram. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I saw a ram on the mountaintop. Okay, tap it and then write the whole thing. All right, did you get R-A-M? And let's turn that into ram-ing. The truck was ramming another truck. Ramming. Okay, apply any spelling rules that need to get applied. Did you spell it R-A-M-M-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Okay, let's try this one. Fold. Can you repeat that word? I could say, I will fold the clothes. All right, tap it or trace it, saying the sounds as you do, and then write it down. Did you spell it F-O-L-D? If you did, that's right. Now let's add ing onto fold. Folding, I am folding the clothes. Okay, write down ing and then think of any spelling rules that have to get applied. Did you spell it F-O-L-D-I-N-G? If you did, that's great. Teacher, if there's time permitting, you could do some more words in this way. And if not, then just move right on to the sentence writing. The teacher reads all 3 sentences and the student chooses the 3 that will get written. After the student writes a sentence, please use CHOPS to check the work. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about the sounds of C and G. What are the 2 sounds that C can make? And what are the 2 sounds of G? Tell your teacher how we know when a G or a C is going to be soft or hard. It's all about what vowel follows it. Have a quick discussion about that one. When C is followed, or G is followed by an E, I, or Y, it's going to be soft. The second rule we've been talking about is the doubling. It's called the 1-1-1 rule. And this is about when we're going to double the final consonant. We ask ourselves, if we've got a base and the base has it's one syllable, which it is. And there's only one vowel, and that vowel's short. Yes, yes. And it's followed by only one babysitter. Yep. If I want to add a suffix ending that starts with a vowel, because all those things are present, I'm going to need to double the P. And that's the doubling rule, the 1-1-1 rule. Okay, great work today. That is the end of lesson 46. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.